Hello and welcome back to the Tin Barn. I'm Pragmatic Lee, and yes, I'm standing over here beside the Powermatic drill press again. I've got this video and possibly one more that I'm going to do on the setup of the drill press. Some of you may be thinking, "Hey Lee, it's just a drill press. What's all this setup?" But if you've been following my channel very long for the last few years, you know that every time I get a piece of new equipment or new to me equipment here in the Tin Barn, I got to do my little additions and modifications to it. I didn't get the name Pragmatic for no reason. I'll tell you the story on how I got that one of these days, or how I got named Pragmatic Lee. But today we're going to look at an addition to the drill press. Let me get the camera zoomed in a little bit closer, and I'll show you what we're going to be working on. As you recall in the previous video, or previous two videos on the drill press, this press is a table mount. I made this table down here in the first video, but it's the base for it, or the table for it, is fixed. The unit is fixed to the table, and it's a flat table with a coolant trough around the perimeter with a drain in the back here. But it's only got just a couple of small, what I called pecker tracks before, in the table, and I'd like to keep it that way. So what I want to do today is take this piece of, this is 12 inch by 12 inch by ½ inch thick steel plate. I want to drill a 1 inch hole in the center. That will be where the drill bit can pass through to, and I'll have about 7/8 to 1/8 of an inch, or 7/8 to a 1 inch clearance underneath to get the drill press through the workpiece. So I've got plans in this. I have added a plate back here in the back. You probably can't see it very well right now, but that is where I will be able to set this plate into place, and it will attach to that drill, so this cannot twist around. Also, what I'm going to be doing, or what we're going to be doing in this video, I'm going to be machining some feet to go under here. As I said too, we'll drill this 1 inch hole in the center, and I've got holes laid out, two on each direction, on the Y, the X and the Y axis. Those will be little stops. So let's turn over to the saw now and start sawing off a few pieces off of this piece of mystery metal. All right, I've got a work stop set up already over here on this on the saw, where I can just bump to it, clamp down, and start sawing off 1 inch pieces. All right, there's one of the pieces sawed off. I'll set this to the side and cut two more. Okay, we're over at the lathe now, and I think what we're going to do is face off one end of each of the three pieces we just cut. We'll get one end faced, then we'll turn them around and face the other end to length. Okay, now that we got one end faced on each of our three remaining pieces, I'll turn them around And what I want to do is get one good face on here and then get a measurement. Alright, I'm going to zero out the Z-axis on my DRO. That's 0.971 minus 0.875. It's 96 thousandths I need to go. And this should be the remainder. $8.73. I'll take that. That's close enough for what we're doing here. We want to drill and tap these for a 5/16 18. So I'll start with my center drill. Okay, I should have you in a little better position now to see what's going on, but I just ran the center drill up here. Now, I'm not going to try to mess with a blind hole. These are just legs. So I'm going to drill all the way through it, make it much simpler when it comes time to tap it. Alright, let's slow the way down now. Get a little lube on the tap. And I'm going to see if I can reach over the camera. Yeah, I think I'm out of your way. But I want my finger on the stop button. Reverse. And I always forget to put that little bit of relief in there before tapping, but as coarse a tap as we're dealing with here, there shouldn't be any issues starting. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing to the other two pieces. That'll give us our total of four legs. Over at the mill now, and I've got the table clamped down, and again, reminder, the reason I'm doing all this drilling over here on the mill instead of on the drill press itself is I got a way to hold this plate over here. I've got it clamped down securely, and I'm going to take this simple pointer right here. I've got my four corners laid out and the other holes as I talked about, and I'm going to use that pointer and just roughly locate. There's absolutely nothing precision about these holes, and I definitely will not show you drilling every one, but these holes on the corners where the legs go in will have a 5/16 18 socket head cap screw, and it will be counterbored so that it is flush with the top of the plate. So we're going to start out with a 5/16 bit. Now that should be clearance for the 5/16, which it is, but we need to counterbore for the head now. And that will get a 5/16 countersink. And I'm going to touch that off and zero out my DRO. And this shows 311. So we want to go down 311 thousandths. I'm going to go on to 315 just so I know for certain that I've got enough depth, and I can see right there I don't. I think what happened is my my countersink slipped up in the chuck. When you're doing something like this, it's normally best to bottom it out in the chuck if you can. So I'll reset to 0. And there's the 315. Let's see how good I got on resetting the 0. That's just a smidge above flush, so I'll go down just a hair more. All right, I'm going to move over and do the one on the other corner. I will have to, I don't have enough Y travel to get this, so I'll have to do a reset on that. But I'm going to come over here and get this one, same way. Then I'll bring you back when we get ready to drill a couple of these holes. Okay, I'm going to move over now and drill some of the 1/2-inch holes for the work stops that we talked about. And those may make more sense to you once we get set up. And I did not make any real effort to get this square on the table since I had each one of the holes already indicated and marked. All right, this will be one of our 1/2-inch holes. And we'll use this looks like a 1/4-inch bit I have laying here. We'll use that as the pilot. I'll lower my head a little bit. Here's where it'd be nice to have a stubby 1/2-inch bit too, so I didn't have to keep moving the head up and down. But we'll work with what we got with. And we'll slow it down a little bit. And that's the work stops I was talking about, that we will have 4 positions on each axis. All right, I'm going to continue to drill some of these 1/2-inch holes, all that I can reach from here. Then I'll bring you back when we drill these 2 over here. These 2 are going to be for the plate that mounts this down that'll keep it from twisting. And they'll be a special size and a special fit. So I'll bring you back then. One other thing I'll show you that I'm going to do on each one of these 1/2-inch holes. I got this little deburring tool here. And all that did was just break that edge up there, give me kind of a lead in for the work stops. Okay, I've got these 2 corners drilled and counterbored, and got 6 of the 8 work stop holes drilled, countersunk. I'm sorry, chamfered. There's really nothing special about these 2 holes I'm drilling back here, except for the way everything's going to hopefully fit together. This is a 6mm piece of I call it drill stock, precision round. I had some 3/8 precision round and some 1/2-inch, but the area I've got to work with back here, I needed something a little smaller. Didn't have any 1/4-inch, but this is a piece of 6mm. And where I got this from, as most of you know, I'm a computer programmer. Still do a little work a couple days a week for the company I was with for over 30 years. But anytime there was a fax machine or a printer or some type of piece of equipment that had rollers in it, anytime something like that was scrapped over the last few years, I would salvage it, bring it home, tear it apart, and get out these pieces of precision stock that's in there. There's lots of different sizes. It'll all be metric for us. You guys in the US, it'll all be metric. But this was 6mm, very close to 1/4 inch. It's 6mm is 0.236. A 15/64 drill bit is 0.243, 7 thousandths difference. Now that's a bit much for a press fit, but I wanted the pins that's going to be in this piece to be a press fit. So we're going to try this. I'm going to drill it with a 15/64 and then drill these two. And before we finish this project, we'll carry this over to the hydraulic press and see if we can't press these two pins into these two holes. All right, I've got all the holes drilled now except for these 2 1/2 inch over here on this axis and these 2 corners. I'm going to I'm going to leave this center hole. I'm not going to do it quite yet. The reason is I want to save that center punch for when we'll go back over there and lay these out on the flanges again that I showed you that I actually mounted solid to the drill press. So I'm going to turn this around, get these other holes on this side, and then meet you back over at the drill press. All right, we're back over at the drill press now, and we're going to temporarily put the legs under the our drilling table. All right, now what we want to do is get this lined up as straight as possible. First off, we're going to see how good I did with measuring the height of the legs. We want our plate or drilling table to slide right over this bracket that we installed. Again, that was done off camera. All right, so now I'll use my pointer. This is why I didn't want to go ahead and drill that center hole. This is 12 inch. The coolant table that's on here is 16 inches. So we can take some 1, 2, 3 blocks on the 2 inch side, and all I'm doing here is just manually lining that up. Let me get a little persuasion tool. Trying to pivot right here on that center hole. And I think that's good enough for a drill press. Now I've got a center punch or a locating punch. And hopefully that's going to give us an indicator good enough that we can take this plate off and drill it. Remember, these holes are sized such that those 6mm pins will press in. The hole I put in this mounting plate back here, I want it to be looser. Not slumpy loose, but loose enough that I can pick this up and pick this drilling table up and off the drill press if necessary. So let's take this piece off now. I can see the indicator over here good, and yeah, I can see it over there. And of course the drill press is going to set right in place, even taking these bolts out back here, simply because all the weight is forward. Yes, I can see those holes or those indicators. I'm going to step back over there to the workbench and put a little better center punch in each one of these. Then we'll go over to the little drill press and drill a 1/4 inch hole. Alright, I got the holes indicated a little better now. I'm over here at my little drill press, and a lot of folks that have seen this in the background in some of my videos have said that come in a nice Delta drill press. Well, this is not a Delta. This is a Power King 610. I actually found a catalog online of the Power King tools, and this particular drill press was featured in the 1941 catalog. It was $17.95 in 1941. Very, very good little drill press. And this again is a 1/4 inch drill. Alright, I'll deburr these holes right here, but then I think the next thing we're going to do is go back over to the mill and drill our center hole in our plate, and then we'll go to the press and press in the pins. Back over at the mill for the what I think will be the last time. I've got the workpiece mounted, got it centered under the quill. I want to step drill this up to 1 inch. And then probably put the boring head in here and open it up to maybe about 1 inch and 1/16, inch and 1/8. Alright, now we have a 1 inch hole. Like I say, I would like to open that up just a little bit so that when I'm on the drill press, if I'm drilling a 1 inch hole over there, I got a little clearance in the table. So give me just a moment and I'll get the boring head in. Okay, let's see if we can bore it out just a little bit. I got it touched off. .098. We'll take another half a turn on my boring head. I think that's going to be close enough. .147. That's a little bit more than an 1/8, inch and 1/8, so I believe that'll be just fine. So we're going to move now over to the hydraulic press, press our 2 pins in back here. Then we'll be ready to put the legs on permanent and wrap this video up. Alright, I've got you down at the eye level, at the working level of the hydraulic press. And I took the ball peen hammer and just barely started these 2 pins in place. Right now would be a perfect time to have a foot pedal on my drill press or on my hydraulic press, but since I don't have one, I went ahead and started these with the hammer. Remember, I think we determined that that would have been about a 7/1000 clearance or 7/1000 interference. They're pressed in. So let's go back over to the drill press, put the legs on permanently, and wrap this video up. Alright, we have all 4 legs on now. We have it, the pins pressed in, so we should be able to reach right up here, pin those in, and now this is not going to get out of hand. Have our center hole in. Remember these 4 holes put in, and these that are made for the welding table, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, maybe sometime last year. Just a matter of setting that in. Now we got a drill bit in here, that's going to hold that. This bumper is going to keep it from rocking out. I could put a second one back here if I had a long piece. Not only will that work with items such as that, but also if I've got something in the press or in the vise, these work stops will keep it from getting out of hand or keeping it from twisting when and if it grabs. The pins will keep the table from turning. And by the way, you can make these are very simple to make, obviously, but they'd work just fine on your regular drill press table. Whatever slots are in your table, you could do the same thing right here and use it for a stop so that the whatever you're drilling doesn't get caught and twist your wrist or create an injury. Alright, I think we're done now with this drill table. As far as I know, it'll probably be a permanent fixture right here on the drill. It gives me, on the press, it gives me clearance to pass the drill bit through whatever I'm drilling. But if for any reason I want to take this off for whatever project I'm working on, this being pinned instead of being bolted, just simply pick it up, put it on one of the shelves below, and continue. Get ready to use it again, just pin it back. Alright, I told you at the beginning of this video that I had one more modification I wanted to do to this drill press just to get it to my point of satisfaction. The on-off switch on here is a simple little toggle switch. Looking at some of the pictures online of these, it looks like they come in several different configurations, and just a plain toggle switch was one of the configurations. Other were big power or bigger on and off button. What I want to put on here is this. This plate is plenty big enough, or this opening in here is plenty big enough to house this. So what I'm going to do is take this plate off, mill it out to hold this housing so that that's mounted back in, and I've got this super easy panic button, stop button if you will. So stay tuned, that video will be coming out in a couple of weeks. I hope you got a bit of enjoyment out of watching me build this drill press table. I got to thinking about it, and I used the bandsaw to cut out this bracket that's back here. I used a little drill press to drill the holes for the pins in it. I used a lathe to make the feet, the 4 feet. Used a surface grinder to be sure the 4 feet were all the same height. Used a mill to drill and mill these holes. Used the the upright bandsaw to cut this hole out, use the horizontal bandsaw to cut the pieces for the legs. So as simple as this little table is, I used, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the power tools here in the tin barn. Don't say I don't give you a little variety. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.